The unexpected war. The planet Dravak 9 was known for one thing: its brutal gravity. Twice the strength of Earth's. No human had ever walked on its surface without help. The Zarnathi Empire, a powerful alien race, controlled it. They believed humans were soft, weak creatures who relied on machines. When the Zarnathi declared war on Earth, they thought it would be over in days. But they were wrong. It started with a warning. Earth's satellites picked up a strange energy pulse from deep space. Within hours, a fleet of Zarnathi warships appeared near Mars. They destroyed Earth's outposts like toys. The world panicked. But Earth's leaders didn't beg. They prepared. Captain Raylan Pierce, one of Earth's strongest soldiers, was chosen to lead the first mission to Dravak 9. Tall, calm, and silent, he wasn't known for many words. But those who served with him said one thing: he doesn't quit. Raylan stood inside the drop pod, staring at the red light above his head. His team of elite soldiers was ready. Each one wore a high-gravity suit built just for this mission. The Zarnathi laughed when they saw the humans coming. "They won't last 5 minutes," one Zarnathi commander said. But something felt wrong. The humans weren't afraid. Especially the man in the front, Raylan. As the pod slammed into the ground of Dravak 9, the gravity hit them like a hammer. 2 soldiers stumbled. 1 vomited. Raylan didn't flinch. He stepped forward, moving slowly but powerfully. Dust swirled around him. The alien soldiers watching from their towers grew quiet. "Why is he not struggling?" one whispered. Raylan spoke into his comm. "Send the message." Earth's message was short: "We're not leaving." Back in space, the Zarnathi leaders grew nervous. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. So, they made a decision. They doubled the gravity across the planet using advanced tech. The effect was instant. The ground cracked. Mountains shifted. Even Zarnathi buildings trembled. They expected the humans to collapse. But Raylan stood taller. He removed his helmet and threw it to the ground. The air was thin. The gravity was crushing. He didn't care. He looked directly at the Zarnathi commander watching through the scope, and he smiled. "Double," Raylan said. "Try triple." The Zarnathi were stunned. Was this a human asking for more? News spread fast. Across the stars, alien species watched the footage. A human standing under gravity that would crush tanks. A man who asked for more. Raylan had become a symbol. But the battle was only beginning. The ground forces moved in. The sky turned black with smoke. Lasers lit up the dark. The humans fought back with strategy, speed, and something the Zarnathi didn't understand: heart. They didn't fight for power. They fought for survival. For Earth. For each other. Raylan led every charge. No matter how hard the gravity pushed him down, he rose again. And every time he stood, the Zarnathi lost a little more faith in their victory. By nightfall, the Zarnathi commander made a final call. "Send in the Titans." Giant war beasts bred to crush armies, but Raylan didn't blink. He looked at his team. "We hold." The screen faded to black. The words appeared. "This is not the end. This is how it begins." The gravity test. The battle on Dravak 9 had started. But this was no normal war. It was a test. The Zarnathi Empire wanted to see how much pressure the human body could take. So, they kept increasing the planet's gravity, bit by bit. They thought the humans would fall apart. They thought wrong. "Captain." Raylan Pierce walked across the cracked battlefield, each step like lifting a mountain. His high-gravity suit creaked under the pressure, but his eyes were sharp, his focus clear. He had faced worse. On Earth, he trained in zero-oxygen, underwater combat, and high-temperature deserts. This was just another challenge. From their floating command station, the Zarnathi generals watched him. Still standing? He should be crushed. General Vorithal, a tall alien with silver skin, hissed in disbelief. Increase gravity by 20% more. A warning siren echoed across the battlefield. The ground shook. Buildings tilted. Even Zarnathi soldiers stumbled and fell. But Raylan, he dropped to one knee, then pushed himself back up. His voice came through the radio, calm and clear. "That all you got?" Inside the human command pod, the team was struggling. Lieutenant Kira, a tech expert, groaned. "Raylan, we can't take much more, the suits are breaking." Raylan looked around. His team was exhausted. Their breathing was heavy, muscles screaming, bones aching. He made a choice. "Everyone fall back to Zone 6, I'll buy you time." Kira protested. "You'll be alone." "I'm never alone," he said, looking up at the stars. "Earth stands with me." As the others moved back, Raylan stood alone on the field. He raised his rifle and stared at the incoming enemy. Zarnathi, soldiers now wearing special gravity armor, moved toward him. Dozens of them. He didn't move. The first alien charged. Raylan sidestepped, grabbed the alien by the neck and slammed it into the ground, even in triple gravity. The others hesitated. "Is he even human?" one whispered. But fear was not allowed in the Zarnathi ranks. They attacked. Raylan fought like a storm. Each movement was slower than normal, but each hit had power. He moved with purpose, never wasting energy. 1, 2, 3 fell. But then came the real test. From the shadows, a Zarnathi Titan appeared, 10 feet tall, heavy armor, 4 arms, red glowing eyes, a gravity hammer in each hand. It let out a loud roar and ran toward Raylan. Everyone watching, even across space, held their breath. Raylan stood still. At the last second, he ducked, rolled, and fired at the Titan's joints. Sparks flew. The Titan roared again, swinging both hammers down. Raylan blocked one, barely, and was thrown back 10 meters. He hit the ground hard. Dust flew. Silence. Was he down? Then he stood, blood on his face, breathing heavy. He dropped his rifle and raised his fists. "Let's make this a real test," he said. The Titan charged again. Raylan didn't run. He punched first. In space, alien leaders across the galaxy watched the footage, and for the first time, they felt something strange. Respect. The battle didn't end that day, but something had changed. The Zarnathi thought they were testing gravity, but it was Raylan who was testing them. Their fear, their limits, their courage. The story of a single human standing alone in triple. Gravity spread like fire across the stars. They began calling him something new. The Gravity Breaker. But this war wasn't over. The Zarnathi had one last plan, something darker, something ancient. And it was waking up. The ancient weapon. After the battle on Dravak 9, the Zarnathi knew one thing. Humans were not weak. Captain Raylan Pierce, now called the Gravity Breaker, had done the impossible. He survived triple gravity. He defeated elite alien soldiers. And he stood tall, alone. But the Zarnathi had one last secret. Something from before their empire even began. A weapon so old and dangerous. They locked it away. Until now. Inside a massive vault deep under the Zarnathi command fortress, General Vorathal stood before a sealed door. Cold mist drifted from the cracks. "Are you sure about this?" one scientist asked. "The human made us a joke," Vorathal growled. "It's time we remind the galaxy who rules it." He entered the code. The vault opened. Inside was Project Eshkar, a living war machine built from metal and alien DNA. It had no face, no mercy, only programming. Destroy anything that resists. The chamber lights turned red. The weapon awoke. Meanwhile, on the surface of Dravak 9, Raylan was resting with his team. Soldiers were recovering. Medics were busy. Everyone was tired, bruised, but proud. Lieutenant Kira walked over to Raylan holding a datapad. "We intercepted a signal," she said. "The Zarnathi are moving something big." "What is it?" he asked. "We don't know, but command says it's ancient." Raylan stood up. Then it's time to see what else they've been hiding. That night the sky glowed red. A massive shadow appeared on the horizon. tall like a skyscraper. Its body moved with gears and fire. Each step made the ground shake. Soldiers froze. Weapons were raised. Then it let out a scream, digital, alien, and loud enough to crack glass. "That's not a tank," Kira whispered. "That's alive." Raylan stared at the monster. "Guess they brought out the big one." The Zarnathi voice came through the speakers across the field. "Humans, you had your fun. Now meet your end." Project Eshkar charged. The humans opened fire. Rockets, lasers, explosives. Nothing worked. The creature absorbed energy and became faster. Raylan called for retreat. "Fall back! Regroup!" The team ran, but the creature moved too fast. It destroyed tanks, crushed buildings, tore through steel. It was made for one thing: endgame destruction. Raylan looked around. His people were dying. His heart pounded. He turned to Kira. "How do we stop something that doesn't feel pain?" She checked the scans. "There's one. Weak point. The core. But it's inside its chest." "How do we get to it?" "You'd have to climb it." Raylan didn't blink. "Then I climb." Using gravity boots, Raylan sprinted toward the beast. Every step felt heavier as the creature tried to push him down with its energy field. But he kept moving. One arm swung at him. He dodged. A second. Arm almost crushed him. He slid under it, then he jumped, landing on the creature's back. Climbing with burning hands, he reached the chest area. There. A glowing red light. The core. He pulled out a magnetic mine and slammed it onto the panel. "Goodbye, metal freak." He jumped off. The mine exploded. The core cracked. The creature let out a final scream and collapsed into dust and flame. Silence fell. Smoke rose. And then... cheers. Raylan stood, breathing hard, covered in dust and blood. Kira ran to him. That was insane. "Welcome to Earth's way of saying hello," he smiled. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. "They hunted us. Said we were weak." "Who?" Raylan asked. She looked up. "Everyone." Alari had no home left. Her people had been scattered or killed, all because they were peaceful, soft-spoken, and didn't fight back. Raylan felt a deep anger. Being kind should never be a reason to die. They brought her on Echo 1. She stayed quiet for a while. But when she saw the stories Earth was sending, the books, the music, the images of people rebuilding after wars, she smiled. "You, humans, you feel pain. But still, sing?" Raylan nodded. "We sing louder after pain." As Echo 1 continued its mission, it made contact with the First Empire, the Valari Syndicate. Cold traders. Known for logic and profit, they scanned the ship and asked only one question. "What do you want from us?" Raylan answered, "Nothing, just to show who we are." He sent the package of Earth's culture. They didn't respond, but they didn't attack. Sometimes silence was a yes. By the time they reached the Second Empire, word had already spread. "The human ship is not a weapon," said a broadcast. "It carries stories." It saved a Venari child. Suddenly, humans weren't just strong. They were strangely noble. Raylan stared at the stars through the ship window. Kira came beside him. "You think this will work?" "I don't know," he said. "But I know this. The galaxy thought we were monsters. Let them see we are more than warriors. Let them see. We're human." Back on Zever Prime. Queen Malvra sat in her dark chamber, watching, thinking, listening to the signals spreading across the stars. "He's not just a soldier," she whispered. "He's a symbol." She didn't smile. She didn't rage. She simply whispered to herself, "This changes everything." The final lesson. The stars were quiet again. Echo 1 had visited 4 alien empires. Some responded with silence, some with respect, a few with fear, but none attacked. Now, only one remained. The Kir Empire. The same empire that tried to crush Earth. That sent beasts, assassins, even their queen. And now, they had called for a meeting, not a trap, not a war, a summit. Raylan stood in the center of the alien hall. Made of stone and glass, it felt ancient and heavy. Queen Malvra waited on the far side. No weapons, no armor, just her and her council. She stared at him with glowing eyes. "You have changed everything." Raylan didn't smile. "We didn't come to change. We came to show who we are, what we stand for." Malvra looked at Alari, the Venari child beside Raylan. "That girl should not have survived." "Your kind protects the weak?" "Yes," Raylan answered, "because we were weak once. We remember what it felt like." There was silence. Then Malvra spoke softly. "The galaxy fears strength, but they fear something more now. They fear your ideas." Raylan nodded. "Good. Let them fear kindness. Let them fear unity. Let them fear hope. That's how change begins." Outside the summit hall, hundreds of alien representatives watched through screens across distant planets. Millions tuned in, and for the first time in history, the galaxy was listening to a human not because of power, but because of truth. Raylan opened the last part of Project Echo. It was a message, not a threat. Not a warning, a story of a world that fought itself, then learned to come together, of humans who fell again and again, and always got back up, and of a simple truth: you can crush a human's body, but never their will. Malvra's eyes narrowed. "Why spare me, Captain?" "You had every reason to kill me." Raylan looked at her calmly. "Because mercy is not weakness. It's power, controlled." There was a long pause. Then, the unthinkable. Queen Malvra stood. She raised her hand in front of the entire galaxy. A Kir salute of respect, not surrender but honor. "The galaxy may not follow you, human, but it will watch, and it will learn." Echo 1 returned to Earth a hero. But Raylan didn't want fame. He went back to the academy. He started teaching. Not just tactics or battle, but lessons of character, compassion, and courage. Alari stayed by his side. She grew. She learned. She smiled. More. One day she stood in front of a new class of alien cadets, young leaders from all corners of the stars, and she spoke the words Raylan once told her: "We don't win by crushing others. We win by standing together." And far away, on thousands of worlds, humans were no longer seen as monsters. They were seen as something far more dangerous to tyranny. They were an idea, because you can fight a soldier. But how do you fight a story? Final words of Raylan Pierce. "Let the stars remember this. They doubled the gravity to crush me. I asked for triple, because I'm human. And we do the impossible." The humans had defeated Project Eshkar, a weapon older than the Zarnathi Empire. Alien leaders began to whisper, "Maybe it's not the Zarnathi we should fear. Maybe it's the humans." But the war wasn't over, because now another empire had noticed Earth, and they didn't want war. They wanted revenge. The other empire, the fall of Project Eshkar, shocked the galaxy. An ancient Zarnathi weapon, defeated by a single human, and not just any human. Captain Raylan Pierce, now called the Gravity Breaker. But not everyone was celebrating. Far away, on a cold and dark planet called Zevor Prime, another empire was watching. The Kir Dominion, silent, dangerous, forgotten by most. They hated the Zarnathi, but they feared the humans even more. Inside a tall tower of black glass, the Kir Queen, Malvra, stared at the battle footage. Raylan climbing the war beast. Raylan placing the mine, the explosion, the cheers. A single human did this? She hissed. Yes, my queen, said her advisor. With only one team. Her fingers clicked against her throne. Then imagine what 10 humans could do, or 100. Her eyes glowed red. We must stop them now, before they rise. Back on Dravak 9, Earth forces were regrouping. Raylan stood at the edge of the battlefield, watching the sunrise. His body ached, his armor was cracked, but his spirit was stronger than ever. Lieutenant Kira walked up, holding a message tablet. We got a transmission, she said. Not from Zarnathi, from someone else. Who? Raylan asked. An empire we thought was extinct. The Kir Dominion. Raylan's eyes narrowed. What do they want? Kira looked nervous. Us. Gone. The message played on a screen. It was short. A dark face appeared. Alien. Sharp features. Black eyes. Human, you have broken the balance. You are growing too fast, too strong. You will be erased. No war declaration. No warnings. Just a threat. Soon, Earth's long-range sensors picked up movement. Not one. Not two. 5 Kir war fleets, heading straight for Dravak 9. They were fast, silent, and deadly. Raylan looked at the map. They're not here to fight a war. What then? Kira asked. They're here to finish one. Within hours, Black Kir dropships landed across the battlefield. Unlike the Zarnathi, they didn't speak. They didn't offer surrender. They attacked. Fast, brutal, precise. Kir soldiers moved like shadows, their armor bent light. Their blades cut through steel. Raylan's team was trained, but even they were surprised by the speed. Raylan shouted orders. Hold the line. Regroup at Point Echo. Kira fired her weapon, dropping 2 Kir troopers. These guys are different. They're faster than Zarnathi. Raylan gritted his teeth. Then we fight smarter. They set traps, mines, decoys, ambush points. The Kir kept coming, and every time they did, Raylan adapted. He studied their movements, learned their timing, then turned their strength against them. In one moment, a Kir elite leaped at him, blades spinning. Raylan grabbed a metal pipe and swung. Crack. The alien dropped. Not so silent now, Raylan muttered. But the humans were still outnumbered. More dropships landed. The sky was black with smoke. Their last defense line was nearly broken. Kira shouted, We can't hold much longer. Raylan checked his wrist computer. One option left. A risky one. There was an old gravity core in the center of the battlefield, Zarnathi tech. Raylan had an idea. If I overload that core, it'll create a gravity shockwave. It'll kill everything in the blast zone, Kira warned. I know. Including you. Raylan smiled. I'll survive. He ran through the chaos, dodging fire and debris. Blades missed him by inches. He jumped over broken tanks. Finally, he reached the core. He hacked into the panel. Sparks flew. The ground shook. 60 seconds, the system said. Kir soldiers saw him and rushed in, but it was too late. The core exploded, sending a massive gravity wave in all directions. Boom. Silence followed. Then, the dust cleared. Raylan stood in the center, bleeding, shaking, alive. Around him, dozens of Kir soldiers were down, crushed under their own weight. The rest were retreating. The battlefield was quiet, for now, but far in space, Queen Malvra watched, in rage. He survived again? Yes, my queen. She stood. Then next time, I go myself. The queen's wrath. The battlefield was quiet. Raylan Pierce stood among the wreckage. Smoke rose from broken ships. The Kir forces had pulled back, but this wasn't victory, it was a warning. The Kir would return. And this time their queen was coming. On Zever Prime, Queen Malvra prepared for war. Her throne room was made of black stone, cold, silent. Her generals knelt before her, fear in their eyes. The human has survived gravity weapons, ancient beasts, and elite assassins, she said. No more tricks, no more waiting. She placed her clawed hand on a glowing blade. I will kill him, myself. On Drovak 9, the Earth base was rebuilding. Soldiers patched armor. Drones flew overhead. Raylan sat in the command tent with Lieutenant Kira, staring at the map. We lost 42 men, Kira said quietly. Raylan's face was tired but calm. We held the line. That matters. A comm alert beeped. Urgent message. Long-range scan detected unknown flagship entering system. Raylan stood. She's here. Queen Malvra's ship was massive, black metal, sharp as a dagger. It didn't land. It descended like a god falling from the sky. The ground shook, lightning cracked, and then... She stepped out. Her armor shimmered with shifting light. Her eyes glowed with red fire. Behind her walked Kur champions, each stronger than any soldier Raylan had seen. Malvra walked to the center of the battlefield. Her voice echoed across every human comm. Send out your warrior, the one who keeps surviving, or I will burn this planet. Raylan didn't wait. He stepped forward, helmet in hand. You're looking for me? Malvra smiled. Finally, they met in the ruins of the old gravity field. A perfect arena. No armies, no backup. Just one human versus one alien queen. Kira tried to stop him. Raylan, she's stronger, faster, and probably smarter. Maybe, he said. But I'm human. The fight began fast. Malvra moved like smoke, dodging, striking, spinning. Her blade could slice stone. Her strength broke metal. But Raylan fought differently. He didn't try to match power with power. He adapted. He used the broken ground, the smoke, the shadows. Each time she hit him, he got back up, bleeding, laughing. You enjoy pain? She asked, surprised. No, he said. I enjoy beating bullies. He grabbed a fallen Kur spear and used it like a lever, flipping her back. She crashed to the ground but landed on her feet. Clever, but not enough. She summoned her energy weapon, an orb of black flame, and hurled it. Raylan rolled. The blast tore through a wall. He ran straight at her, using her own momentum. He jumped. Mid-air, he pulled out a small object from his belt, a gravity grenade. He slammed it into her chest plate and hit the trigger. You like heavy things? He shouted. Try this. The grenade exploded, only briefly, but long enough to triple the gravity around her body. She collapsed to her knees, stunned by her own weight. Raylan stood over her. Now you know how it feels. Malvra looked up, coughing, furious. Finish. But Raylan didn't move. No. You came here thinking humans were weak. Now go back and tell your people the truth. We don't break. We adapt. He turned and walked away. Her guards ran to her, but she raised a hand, stopping them. He spared me. She looked up at the stars, and for the first time, she looked worried. Later, in the command tent, Kira smiled at Raylan. You really let her live? Yeah? Why? He shrugged. Because sometimes it's better to show mercy than victory. Also, he grinned. Now, she knows who we are. Across the galaxy, the message was clear. Don't mess with humans. They don't fear pain. They survive anything, and sometimes they forgive, but never forget. Echoes of Earth. The galaxy went silent. After Queen Malvra's defeat, empires stopped speaking. No new attacks. No warnings. No threats. Everyone was waiting to see what the humans would do next. And for the first time, the galaxy was afraid of peace, because the silence after human victory was louder than war. On Earth, the United Defense Council held a secret meeting. Generals, scientists, world leaders. Raylan Pierce stood in the middle, still in armor, still bruised, but alive. You went alone against a queen, said the African Union commander. And won, said the European delegate. No, Raylan corrected. We survived. That's what humans do best. The council looked at each other. Then maybe it's time, the chairman said. Time we stop just surviving and start leading. Earth's new plan was called Project Echo. Not a weapon, not a war fleet, a message. They would send a ship across the stars, a peaceful one, a ship filled with human history, stories, culture, and strength, to show the galaxy not what Earth could destroy, but what it had built. The ship was called Echo 1, small, fast, armed only with knowledge and protection. Raylan was chosen as its captain, again. You sure you want me? He asked. Kira smirked. You're the face of Earth now, Captain. No pressure, he said. Echo 1 left orbit with quiet engines and loud hopes. Its goal: reach 5 known alien empires. Deliver the message. Return. Simple mission, but nothing was ever simple with humans. 2 days into travel, the ship received a distress signal. Unknown vessel, life support failing, coordinates locked. Raylan looked at Kira. What do you think? Could be bait. Could be a life worth saving. They changed course. When they reached the ship, it was spinning in deep space. Broken. Burning. Raylan and Kira boarded it in suits. Inside, they found a single survivor. Small. Thin. Purple skin. Scared eyes. A child. Not Zarnathi. Not Kir. Something. New Raylan picked her up gently. You're safe now. Her name was Alari. She was from a species called the Venari, thought to be extinct. She spoke in broken common,